Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the webinar today. This will be a health talk, basically about health matters that are particularly germane to us and also to a lot of people in the Black community. And I know not everybody's Black on this show, but quite a few of you are on. So I hope this will be of benefit. Again, I want to say a big thank you to Apostle Charlie and the MB88 leadership for this privilege. And it is a privilege really to share things that can significantly help and improve the lives of others. And as we go along, we will be taking questions, but most of the questions will be towards the end. I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and we shall get into the presentation. Okay, I'm going to try to share screen.
I don't want to check. I'm just going to.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we all see the screen?
What's that? Go down.
Yes.
Just give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen.
No, I don't see.
Thumbs up. Can we see it?
Nope.
To the left-hand side. Your left-hand side. I see it.
Hey. Again, I'm Dr. David Ajibade with the Brain and Body Foundation. It's based both in Nigeria and it's a 501c3 in the United States as well. Our goal is to, a couple of things really. Our goal, that's my information there just in case you need it. Our goal is to educate people with regards to the basic principles that govern health and also to understand the threats to our health, not just present time, but future as well, because there are certain things that people tend to do or neglect to do that's kind of like come back and bite them in the you know what later on in life. And I think these things can be avoided if people were properly educated in the things and the matters that govern health. So there is our function there. That's what we do, education, but also we want to work with healthcare professionals to address many of the things that affect health today. Somehow we believe that there are gaps even in healthcare, even in the Western world, that should be addressed. And especially in things like I deal with sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease is a big problem. We haven't gotten a handle on it. But it's not just about sickle cell disease. There are other brain disorders, like strokes. We know about cancer. It's still a top killer. Heart disease, top killer in the world. What is missing? What needs to get attended to? These are some of the things that we will be addressing. And we'll also be talking about some of the solutions that we found. As a matter of fact, it was through these solutions that we got in contact with Apostle Charlie and the MB88 team. Initially, we were given permission by the government to just address brain disorders, and then later on it's expanded to sickle cell disease. But as they saw the remarkable results we were getting in these various areas, they basically expanded it to include several different things, from strokes and heart disease to hormonal conditions to sickle cell disease to even genetic conditions, because the government saw that we were addressing things from a particular perspective. We're getting results. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's not really about some really fantastic medical approach. It's basically fundamental principles that we're applying. That's basically, if you apply them, you should get results. And it's mainly about your body, about the physical body, what the physical body can do, what the brain can do, what the physical body can do, if given the right resources, if given the right tools. And again, I have sickle cell disease in front of your screen because I'm actually in the country, because we're about to start a research project with sickle cell disease in Nigeria. Our goal is that we want to stop the suffering of sickle cell disease. Right now, the statistics still say that about 50 to 70, close to 70% of people who have sickle cell disease will die before their 5th birthday. Now, that may not mean much to you because there are not too many of them in the US, but in Nigeria, we have about 200,000 being born every year. So we're looking at upwards of 100,000 that are dead every year from sickle cell disease. But the principles that we found out that can work with sickle cell disease, basically, we have found work with all other conditions as well. I want to start with this quote because I really, really love it. It says this: "A man does not come to the almshouse or to the jail by the tyranny of fate or circumstance, but by the pathway of groveling thoughts and base desires. Neither does a pure-minded man fall suddenly into crime by the stress of any mere external force. Criminal thought had long been secretly fostered in his heart, and the hour of opportunity revealed its gathered power." Now, this is about morality, right? The question is, what does this have to do with health and longevity? Well, it has a lot to do with it, because the principle is the same. Most times when people have an event, maybe a stroke or a heart attack or kidney failure or an asthmatic attack that kills them, it's not something that suddenly happened. It's basically as a result of gradual things being chipped away, their health being chipped away, their strength being chipped away over time. And yes, age has something to do with it, but age only has something to do with it because certain aspects were to some degree neglected, some degree chipped away. So we're going to look at some of those aspects as we go along. And I wanted to just start with this called the laws of life. I came across this after working on this for many, many years when I first stayed in the United States. Your health depends to a very large extent on the words you speak, the beliefs you have, the thoughts and emotions that you are running in your head, the quality of what you put in your mouth, the quality of care you give your body, and the quality of your relationships, and the quality of the work you do, or the hobbies, or what occupies your time during the most productive hours of the day. These all, and each of these have tremendous amount of research behind them, showing that they all affect our health and longevity. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I do want to point out a couple of things from the fifth law. And basically, that's the quality of the care you give your body. This includes, but it's not restricted to, the quality of your sleep, the quality of your exercise, how much you move your body, how much sitting you do. And I just want to point to sitting, for instance. There are experts are beginning to say that if you sit for too long, it can, and on a daily basis, that's pretty much a lot of the work, a lot of the
outstanding so far.
white collar jobs are sitting down at a computer or at a desk. They are showing that it can cause almost irreversible changes if, like, all the hours you sit down without exercising or walking or stretching, can cause damage that can make you more prone to heart attacks and strokes. Sit down for too long, and that includes sitting down on your couch or watching TV all day. Very, very important. And I invite you to look at this on the internet. Another thing they're finding out is the health of your teeth. Dentists are encouraging us to clean our teeth twice a year. Go to the dentist, clean your teeth twice a year. You're supposed to be flossing regularly. You're supposed to be brushing your teeth twice a day, at least, in the morning and at night. And you brush your teeth only once a day, has to be at night, because it's at the nighttime when the bacteria, if you leave your food, you leave food in your mouth all night long, the bacteria pack it builds up and it causes decay, and that can build up over a period of time. Look at this. People with gum disease have 2 to 3 times the risk of having a heart attack, stroke, or any other serious cardiovascular event. That's huge. Any teachers that growing and in medical school, certainly not growing up. I mean, I remember back home in Nigeria, I was mentioning this on a TV show. And the host, who is a very educated, very well-traveled lady, said she had never heard that before. She brushes her teeth only once. And so if somebody in that position doesn't know about it, then we can think about the rest of it. And these are the small things. These are the small things that affect our health that we know nothing about. And again, there's a lot of information on the internet that poor dental hygiene is related to Alzheimer's disease, premature births, is related to cardiovascular disease, is related to even cancer. for dental hygiene. So you really, this is one thing you can easily take care of. So you really, really, really want to pay attention to your dental hygiene. Okay, so we talked about some of the, and I know we didn't really do a good job. Dr. Dan was going to do this, but unfortunately he was not able to make it. I was going to give a general talk on health talk. So this, like I said, I'm just going to rush through this. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in. The question is, what happens when you fall sick or are faced with a serious health challenge? And some of you may have loved ones, some of you it may be happening to you. You may be having diabetes, you may be having heart disease, cancer. Those are all very, very, very serious conditions. And I have to say this, that COVID-19, the one thing that COVID-19 has done and has taught us is that these things, especially things like hypertension and diabetes and obesity, these things should not be taken lightly at all. Even hypertension, we now see that a lot of conditions, a lot of severe COVID-19 deaths as a result of things as simple as obesity, things as simple as hypertension. It means that we have to get a handle on these things. We have to know what to do. It means that you have to take a medication as your doctor has prescribed, but it's not just that. You've got to know what it takes to have a healthy cardiovascular system. You have to know what it takes to have a healthy, to improve your body's ability to take in
port that they can draw blood so that they wouldn't
very important. It's very important that we get educated about these things. So speaking about COVID-19, some of the top 5 factors that causes the people who die, people who have the most severe forms of COVID-19, are those as this numbers, as this screen, this slide show, there are those who are obviously the older age group. The older you get, as a rule, the weaker you get in certain areas. Sorry, folks, that's just the way it is. Even I'm beginning to feel a kind of weakness. I'm not even 50 yet, so it's happening to me, even though I know a lot of things about health. Obesity is a big problem, especially if you have a big belly. That's where the bad fat really stays. And what we know is that the bad fat is like a furnace or a building. It's a cultivating ground for a lot of bad chemicals that can cause a lot of problems in your body. Cardiovascular disease, hypertension, those are the things. People who have these things are more prone to have the most diabetes. Pulmonary disease, yes, COVID-19 is primarily a lung disease. We know that the darker skinned people, and I'm going to explain this towards the end of this conversation, the darker skinned people seem to have more severe forms of COVID-19. In fact, in the UK, they were saying they are 4 times more likely to die than white people are. What is going on? Something about blood group 2, but I'm not going to go into that. That's above my pay grade, I think. Let's talk about the 4th law. One of the things that we found out, the 4th law has to do with, let me see what I have there. Now, the 4th law has to do with what goes in your mouth, your food and the food. And I tell you, folks, that's extremely important. People just don't realize it. Don't realize that all those decades of putting the stuff in. I just got a message saying that many people have not muted their phone, laptop. Maybe someone can mute everyone. Okay, let's see how I can mute everyone. Okay.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Please mute yourself. I'm really not finding a way to mute it while the screen is up. So there are complaints that there's a lot of noise in the background. Please, 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 for the sake of other people, mute yourself so that, goodness gracious, a lot of people are talking. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a quick break here and then let's address this real quickly.
Can you mute the people in the back?
This is where let me see where my chat is. Okay.
You know? Let me see then.
Please mute yourselves. Okay, I think everybody is muted now. I hope it's better now. Just do a thumbs up if you can all hear me well. Thumbs up. Can we do it? Let's have a thumbs up. People are not raising their thumbs. That tells me that they're probably not hearing me well. Okay. All right. Please, Pankaj, please send me another message just in case.
You are clear.
Okay.
SCOND.
All right. Still having problems. People are still talking in the background. Please, folks, please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves. Mute everybody. Folks, I'm going to mute everybody. It's affecting.
Oh, me can't see them so clearly because you use it. Just spend them.
Yes, sir.
Consensus. Complement. Condition.
CONGEST. I don't know. No.
Go on.
I mean, yes, I mean,
Protection.
PRO.
Okay, folks, I'm back. I hope that is better now. Can you all, I think, Diana, you let me know if that's better, if that mutes everybody else. Okay, we are back. And please be sure to mute yourselves, folks. All right, I was just saying something about your food. What we found out is that what you put in your body, and you know this already, what you put in your body over time will break down your body. But the good news is that what you put in your body can also reverse a lot of things that are going on in your body, but you have to put the right kind of stuff. So it's not only what you eat that's killing you, it's what you don't eat. And you hear everybody say, don't eat stuff with cholesterol, don't eat meat, don't eat this, don't eat that. Yes, it's important to avoid certain things. It's more important, much, much more important to know how to eat the right kinds of stuff. And I'm really, 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 really big on nutraceuticals or on nutritional supplements because that provides the concentration, the right concentration. I don't believe diet alone is going to do it, but the nutraceuticals and nutrients will provide the right concentration to make the shifts, make the changes in your body. And this is one of my favorite quotes. The human body heals itself. The human body heals itself, and proper nutrition provides it with the resources it requires to accomplish that task. The human body heals itself. If things are going on in your body, in fact, even if nothing is going on in your body, you have to know this. Your body is constantly being assailed. Your body is constantly being damaged. Simply by living in this world, your body is constantly being damaged by the air we breathe, the food we take, what we drink. That's our relationships. It's a toxic world. There's no question about it. But if you eat the right kind of nutrients, your body is going to be able to heal and repair, sometimes as quickly as the damage is happening. Sometimes it may be slower, but at least you're doing something about it. So that is super, super important. Super important for you to know that, okay? So I'm going to go on to the next slide. I hope people are hearing okay. Just going to make sure. Okay. There are 4 areas that I really want to focus on, and Apostle Charlie really wanted me to emphasize this. There are 4 areas. We found this with sickle cell disease, we found this with cancer, we found this with heart disease, we found this with diabetes. If you can control these 4 areas, if you can control these 4 areas using the right kind of nutrients, and of course, lifestyle, there are so much you can avoid by way of health. And even if you do have health issues, by improving these 4 areas, you can see an improvement in your health. I'm not saying these treats, because that would be illegal for me to say these things treats, but they help your body repair, heal, recover itself. Most important thing, of course, in my opinion, is the immune system. And as a matter of fact, back to COVID-19 again, COVID-19 has shown us that those people with weak or dysfunctional immune systems are those that are most likely going to have the more severe forms and most likely die from COVID-19. It is so, so important. In fact, the research that we're doing with sickle cell disease is primarily focused on the immune system. I don't think anybody has ever done this kind of research, because nobody ever thought about it. Nobody ever, in my opinion, they didn't realize how important the immune system is. But the immune system is all important. It's also important when it comes to cancer. It's also important when it comes to heart disease. It's important when it comes to lung disease. It's important when it comes to even the brain and strokes. It is so important. The other thing we're going to talk about is free radical damage. This is something that happens in your body day in, day out. Basically, if you think about a car burns fuel and it releases gas and other toxic chemicals like carbon monoxide. This goes out of the exhaust pipe and into the atmosphere, hopefully. If it's prevented from releasing those things, if there's a blockage in the exhaust pipe, that can damage the engine and damage the car. In the same way, our bodies produce, they burn up glucose and other fatty acids and other nutrients. The waste products that are produced have to be taken out. The way your body takes care of these waste products is by using or by producing antioxidants. Antioxidants. These are chemicals that your body produces to neutralize free radicals. The toxins that the body produces are called free radicals. What your body produces to combat the free radicals are called antioxidants. This is not the only way you get free radical damage. You can also get it from food and the air and everything else, including drugs and including therapy, and even radiotherapy is a form of free radical damage. Inflammation, let me quickly explain that. Inflammation is your body's response to damage. And so you get swelling, you get pain, you get redness. It can happen on your joints, it can happen in your body, it can happen in the blood vessels. When that happens, it puts you at a greater risk for certain diseases like cancer, like heart disease, like kidney disease. So the important thing is let me get back to that. So the fourth one that we mentioned is nitric oxide. I'm just going to quickly say this. It's important you get this, and hopefully this is going to be recorded and it's going to be made available. But it's important that you understand each of these things. Meet the immune system, the free radical damage and antioxidants, inflammation, and nitric oxide production. Why is nitric oxide important? There was a Nobel Prize that was given for it. Nitric oxide is produced by the body, and what it does is that it dilates the blood vessels. It relaxes and dilates the blood vessels so that blood, which carries nutrients and oxygen, can flow through freely. If you don't have enough nitric oxide in your body, your blood vessels are tight, hypertension, and the blood doesn't flow through freely. This is what happens when there's a stroke or a heart attack or there's kidney disease. Many times it's because the inner channel that blood has to flow through is blocked or damaged. And that is because nitric oxide is unavailable to help to dilate the blood vessels. Yes, there are other factors involved, but nitric oxide is probably, in my opinion, the most important factor for free flow of blood. And if you're diabetic, the nitric oxides are low. If you're older, your nitric oxides are low. As you can see the graph here, the older you get, the less nitric oxide you have. The good news is that there are nutrients, supplements, nutraceuticals that can help to significantly improve and boost your nitric oxide production. So let's just say a little bit about cardiovascular disease, since we talked about nitric oxide. Again, heart attacks and strokes don't just happen. It's a gradual buildup of things happening in the blood vessels and in the heart that eventually leads to a stroke or a heart attack. It doesn't just happen like that. And these are examples of what happens it's a gradual weakness and damage to the blood vessels. Again, this is an example, and this is a pictorial view, what happens in the heart. You can see there's a blockage here, and part after the blockage, you can see it's darker than the rest of the heart. That's because it's been blocked, and that's because it's dying. And so your doctor comes in and they try to remove the blockage, they give you drugs and so on and so forth. Same thing with strokes. Of course, you need to have access and you need to take advantage of what the doctor has for you. All I'm saying is that in addition to that, there are nutrients you can take that will also help to facilitate and accelerate your recovery and your rehabilitation. The challenge is, and I'm saying this because I see a lot of you kind of look like me. Again, we're not trying to say this is only for Black people, but one of the things that I began to look at, especially working in the US and then going back to Nigeria, is that we saw this super abundance, over representation of Black people and darker skinned people too. I think it affects, darker skinned people, it affects as well. And I want to explain that towards the end. Blacks tend to have high blood pressure earlier in life and with much higher blood pressure levels than whites. Nearly 42% of Blacks and 45% of Black women aged 20 and older have high blood pressure. Strokes kills something. I'm not seeing that, but I think you can. Let me see if I can get that out of the way. Kills more 35 to 54-year-old Black Americans than white Americans. Black have nearly twice. Folks, I know this is not very good news, but I got to tell you the truth. These are issues that we have to face up to. And I'm shocked that Black doctors are not talking about this as much as they should. And again, I'll explain that. I'm not seeing this at the top here, but anyway, the certain group of Black people have perhaps twice as much of these oxidants. Basically, they're like free radicals, chemicals that damage the blood vessels. So they have greater amounts of these things. Again, we talk about Black people. Unfortunately, ladies, it is worse for Black women. 44% of African American men and 48% of African American women have some sort of a cardiovascular disease that includes heart attacks, heart disease, and strokes. Please, please, please don't tune off yet. There's some good news at the end, things that you can do about it. I really want to talk about diabetes, because if your blood vessels aren't working like you should, if you're not moving like you should, if you're overweight, there's a greater chance that you have diabetes. And of course, a lot of people know about diabetes. It's one of the problems with diabetes is that it can damage the kidneys. Diabetes is primarily the body's inability to take in and use glucose, and therefore glucose builds in the bloodstream. When glucose builds in the bloodstream, it can damage the eyes, damage the brain, it can damage the kidney. As a matter of fact, diabetes is the number 2 cause of kidney failure and the need for dialysis after hypertension. So it's a big problem. Let's move on to cancer. Again, the good news isn't good for people for Black people. It appears to be more severe. It starts earlier. It's more aggressive. Even those who get treatment, they tend to have a higher degree of relapse. I saw this as a resident in training when I was training to be a radiation oncologist. We saw that women, if they were treated for breast cancer and they recovered, but they now went back and had a pregnancy and had a child, that tended to let there be a resurgence of the cancer. And so in fact, my boss, the oncologist, said he strongly advises women who have breast cancer and who have been treated successfully they shouldn't get pregnant, because something about the hormonal balance and the cancer triggers a resurgence of the cancer. So the results aren't really the best. And again, I know I'm saying so many things. I think I'm going to skip a few things because I'm tired of giving bad news. I want to get to the good news. Prostate cancer is number one among black men. So let's switch to black men now. This is the really bad thing. African Americans have the highest death rates and shortest survival of any racial group. I'm going to switch to this because this is really, really what I want to talk about. In addition to the four areas that we talked about, the immune system, free radical damage, inflammation, and of course, nitric oxide production. Again, there are nutrients that are available that Apostle Charlie has come to know about and find out about, and she's excited about this. And she really wanted me to talk about this because she really cares about you all, and she wants you to benefit from this knowledge. What you do with it will be up to you, but at least we would have presented you with this knowledge. One of the things that has really impressed me over the years is the fact that certain conditions seem to be more common among Black people. We talked about cancer and heart disease. It got me thinking, and I'm wondering, why aren't people talking about this? And what we've come to find out is one of the key things. Yes, there's a factor where there's unfair treatment of people of color in the hospitals, and I'm not downplaying that at all. But there's, in my opinion, there's a more important factor, which is the fact that we are deficient in a very, very vital hormone. It's really a hormone called vitamin D. And I'm going to, in the next few slides, I'm going to explain why that is important. And I'm hoping that at the end of this presentation, all of you will go to CVS or Walgreens or wherever and start getting vitamin D, because especially in this winter period, we are deficient in vitamin D. And this is somebody from FDA, so this is not just a quack talking. In sharp contrast to their white counterparts, Blacks have higher levels of certain things that, including diabetes, that cannot be attributed entirely to socio-economic differences or disparities in healthcare. And that is that's what leads to the discussion about vitamin D. Many times, especially in the winter, we are low in vitamin D. And they have found out that vitamin D is not important, not just for your bones and your teeth, but also for the immune system. It's important for the cardiovascular system. It is important for the brain and brain development. As a matter of fact, they found out that vitamin D regulates about 10% of our genes. 10% of our genes. That's like 2,000 of our genes. And that may not mean much to you, but it's a lot. When people are deficient in vitamin D, they tend to have more of cardiovascular disease, they tend to more to have brain issues, they tend more to have kidney issues, and a host of other things. Again, we're just saying a few things, but please do your due diligence and read about this on the internet. There's a lot to be said for that. I'm showing this guy's picture. He's a preacher. He had prostate cancer before his 40th birthday. This man too, some of you know him. This is not about politics. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon, so I followed him from when I was a child. Some of you may not, well, I'm not going to go into that. But he had prostate cancer, aggressive form of prostate cancer before the age of 40. So it's not, I put up these two pictures because it's not about socioeconomic status. He was, this man in particular, Dr. Carson, was, as you know, is the top echelon when it comes to health, when it comes to financial independence. He still had that issue. Luckily for him, he worked in a hospital where he had access to the top healthcare. So it's not just about socioeconomic factors. And yes, there is, but I'm saying now that the research is now pointing more and more, in addition to socioeconomic factors, pointing more and more to the fact that amongst other things, we are lacking in vitamin D. And here's a nice graphic that says a few that talks about people who are deficient in vitamin D, and it talks about your age, your weight, if you're not out in the sun, if you have darker skin. And here's the thing I want to talk about really quickly. If you have dark skin like me, you have to make vitamin D from the sun. If your skin isn't exposed to the sun long enough, you will not make enough vitamin D. If you have dark skin, the melanin that makes your skin dark, we have more of that than white people, melanin blocks out the sun's rays, the specific rays that are necessary for making vitamin D, called ultraviolet B light, ultraviolet B rays that blocks out vitamin D. Melanin blocks out the ultraviolet rays, and therefore it doesn't give you your body the ability, the chance to make vitamin D. And as we've just said, vitamin D is important to regulate a lot of genes. So if you're not having enough vitamin D, a lot of things can go wrong. And I began to see this back home. We started giving people vitamin D through our foundation. We started giving kids with sickle cell disease vitamin D, and they started recovering. We started giving it to adults. They used to have back pain, muscular pain. They would wake up with severe back pains. It helped. I'm not saying that's the only thing that can treat back pain. You might need a chiropractor or a physical therapist. But vitamin D is important for muscular health and bone health. And so we saw that this was so important. And really, in my opinion, this thing needs to be shouted from the rooftops. I have a friend, a doctor, well-educated doctor. He moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's looking for a doctor. He wants a black doctor to give him his yearly physical. And he goes through a series of tests, back and forth, talks with the doctor. They give him a clean bill of health. I asked him, did your doctor, your black doctor, talk to you about vitamin D? He said, no. That is tragic. That is tragic, because vitamin D, our black doctors should be talking about vitamin D because we're deficient in it. All right. I have a graphic here, and of course you can get these slides afterwards. And basically it tells you the skin type and how much access you have to vitamin D. And pretty much most of us are this number 6. Some of you, I see Diana may be, I don't know, 2 or 3. But most of us who are black have lower levels of vitamin D. Basically what this means, and it kind of explains this here, the paler you are, the more easily your skin can produce vitamin D. The darker you are, the less you are able to produce vitamin D. Also, if you're older, you are less likely to produce vitamin D. Further down here, it says if you have skin type 5 or 6, it might take up to 6 times longer than someone who is skin type 1 or 2. Excuse me. So it is crucial, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely crucial that you start taking vitamin D, especially during this COVID-19 times. Take your vaccine if you want to take your vaccine, but make sure you're taking your vitamin D. Because one of the things that we found out, and there's research all over the world, that those who have the most severe forms of COVID-19 are those who have very low vitamin D. And vitamin D is important for the immune system, as you have seen. All right, so age is a factor. I have a picture here that's kind of like shows all the different things that vitamin D affects, from the brain to the heart, the kidneys, the skin, the kidneys again. What was that? The kidneys, and of course the lungs. Very, very important. If nothing convinces you, I want you to look at this picture. These are 2 pups, mice, born on the same day from the same mother, pretty much the same genes, right? They deprived the one on the left of vitamin D. They gave the one on the right enough vitamin D. Can you see the difference? I hope you can. You can see this one looks older, looks wizened, it looks smaller, it looks weaker. The other one looks robust. I hope that convinces you. Next slide. Okay, all right, okay, this is kind of like a picture of what we do back home. I don't know who my staff must have left this. Okay, so we do a lot with regards to we help all these kids, adults. This is our work back home. People come from all over the city to help for their kids with brain disorders and brain damage, everything from seizure disorder, cerebral palsy, autism, and they all come and receive medication and consultation free of charge. I think my staff kind of left this. That's me over there. And I'm sure we're going to be having one tomorrow. We have one every single Friday. Every single Friday. People from all over the city come in and come for help, and we do our best to help them in any way we can. Let me go on to the next slide. Next slide, please. All right. I want to end with this quote. It says the human body heals itself. The human body heals itself. Proper nutrition provides it with the resources it requires to accomplish that task. Folks, your body's under attack. You are under attack and you don't even know it. You don't know it, maybe because you don't feel it. I'm telling you now, you are under attack and you've got to take in the resources that you need to protect yourselves and protect your tissues. Don't live life carelessly. And even if you've gone so far, there are things you can do to significantly improve your health. Don't take things for granted. And so here are the recommendations that we give. There are nutrients. Apostle Charlie's already using them, and she's recommended a lot of you guys probably listening to it to me now to take them. There's a nutrient that's made out of aloe vera, the aloe vera plants. It boosts the immune system probably better than anything out there. This same nutrient is what we're using for our sickle cell disease study, and it's the company that is donating this nutrients for us. Significant power, significant. The same company, I can't talk about the company on this because we're not allowed to. Anyway, free radical damage, there are supplements that can significantly curtail and defend against free radical damage and keep you from being your cells and your tissues from being damaged. That's the one thing I used when I was much younger. Inflammation, there are also supplements that can help with inflammation. And of course, there are supplements that can help with boosting nitric oxide production. Remember what I said about nitric oxide? Nitric oxide helps to dilate the blood vessels. People who are hypertensive, people who have kidney disease, people who have heart disease, people who have pretty much any kind of chronic disease, usually, without even checking, they know that their nitric oxides are low. In addition to these four, I recommend vitamin D, I recommend vitamin C and zinc, especially during this COVID-19 times. So again, you need the immune system, something that will strengthen your immune system, especially during this COVID-19 times. I've mentioned aloe vera. I've mentioned the supplements that comes in the company I mentioned that will help to boost your immune system function. Thank you. I've put information here. This is our email address on the website if you need more information. And of course, I'm assuming there are going to be lots of questions. So I am going to stop sharing the screen and open it up for questions.
Hi, Dr. David.
I think you're going to have to chat to send your questions in the chat. Where's the chat? Okay. Oh, someone said there's too much background noise. I hope that changed afterwards. Please mute your phone. Oof. Some people have the line open. Gosh. Please mute yourself. We can hear the doctor. All right. Please have everyone go on mute. This is very distracting. There's too much background noise. Oh dear. Oops. All right. Do we have any questions? I hope you're able to hear afterwards.
I have a question.
Until afterwards. I didn't know those about you. I've done that, yeah.
I have a question, Dr. David. Can you hear me?
All right, any questions? Don't send your questions all at once. I can only handle one at a time.
I have a question. I would like to know how much zinc can you take in a day? I have this Geographic
The net
tongue.
is talking.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I am not able to hear what you're saying. You're gonna need to type those questions in.
Oh, how you typed in it?
Can't believe nobody's asking me a question. Man, it's either you didn't hear what I was saying, or it was that boring, or it made so much sense that it was crystal clear and you don't need to ask any more
Speaker.
questions.
Say, what is active speaker?
All right, I'll wait a few more minutes. Is there any area you would like me to go over again? are really conscious of your time.
We should let you come in so you can show them how to get the people here.
Okay, someone says, how much vitamin D and vitamin C do you suggest? Okay. All right, so the question is, how much vitamin C and vitamin D? Let me say this. The standard recommendation of vitamin D is 600 international units. I have found out, and now researchers are beginning to review that amount, and they're saying that is nowhere near enough, and certainly not enough for Black people. Then for those who know,
you guys do it. You do it.
6,000
you know where it is. If you know where it is, you do it.
Between 6,000 and 10,000.
Okay.
That is now the new
Bye-bye.
recommendation from those who have done the research and have studied different cultures around the world, and they've seen the levels that are important. Now, maybe after a few months, to use 10,000, especially during the winter, I can almost guarantee you that you are low in vitamin D. But after that, please, after 6 months of using 10,000, you can go and recheck. I typically take nothing less than 10,000 international units a day. I've been in this country now for going on 5 months. I've traveled all over the place. I have been in every possible situation. I'm still standing, I'm still alive. And I know I have to take this. And I take the immune supports that I mentioned to you. I take the other supplements as well, because I know that I need all the help I can get. All right, vitamin C is, I would say about 1,000 milligrams. That's a gram. Please, I would recommend the powder as opposed to the tablets and the capsules. Give me a second. Let me just, please send in your questions. I'll be right back.
I never got the keyboard up. I need to try.
He said, Danette is trying to talk to me. She's asking me a question, but I don't know how to get it in.
Okay, I'm back. There's some background noise I had to take care of. Okay, so vitamin C, I take about 1,000. I take a scoop, so I kind of put that in a bottle of water, and I drink that somewhat at night. Well, it's a small glass of water. I drink that at night, and if you take it at night and take vitamin D at night, you'll find out that your sleep is so much more fulfilling, so much better. Okay.
This is a morning.
Okay, hang on just a minute.
You say at night.
This is Dickon Santiago. Hello. Yes, sir. No, I'm not hearing them at all. I thought I muted everybody. I'm clicking on the button. It's muting. Yeah, they're all muted. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's not going to work. I think it's best to just type it in, because they'll probably all meet at the same time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It'll be harder to control. All right. But are you hearing me okay? Okay. All right. Good. Sorry about that, folks. How much zinc do you need a day? They recommend between 30 and 50 milligrams of zinc a day, especially during this COVID-19 time. Note that I say 30 and 50 because I know that you're not going to get all 30 or all 50, because it's not all going to be absorbed, and the way the capsules are made, it's not going to stop. It will say 50 milligrams, but that includes other things as well. So you're safe with nothing more than 50, and then kind of like break it, take one in the morning, like 25 milligrams in the morning, 25 milligrams in the afternoon. People are talking about what you were talking. David, please, can you unmute everybody so they can ask you? Yeah, I think we talked about that. What is recommended to take for American problems to help build red blood cells? Someone's asking how to build red blood cells. Vitamin B complex, folic acid, those are things that help you build red blood cells. I take 1,000 vitamin a day. I have had kidney cancer, so should I add another 1,000 a day? Oof, that would have to be a separate conversation with your doctor. If you're dealing with kidney cancer, you really have to have more personalized discussions. It's probably not the best tool. You probably can't say it on the platform. talking about what you're saying. How much zinc do you need per day anymore? Sorry, folks, we can't unmute everybody. We can't just unmute everybody because there are so many people on the call, and it would be hard to it'd be hard to hear you if everybody was allowed to just ask their questions. It's a lot harder that way. Although if someone has a better suggestion, please, by all means, let me hear it. Let me see any other questions. Please show us your email address again. Okay, let me, email address. Okay, tell you what, I'm gonna type in my email address here. Dr. David. This is Dr. David Ajibade at gmail.com or david.wordquest@gmail.com. Most important thing, folks, strengthen your immune system. You never know when you're going to need to have a strong immune system. Do not take it for granted. Okay? Tell them to hit chat. Yes, hit chat. So click on the chat button. If you want to chat, chat is at the very bottom of the screen. Click on the chat button and then send me a chat. Okay, I see another message. Doctor, for a person with Crohn's disease, yeah, Crohn's, I can't really say exactly what you should take for a specific disease. That's pretty much not allowed. Now, if you want to have a separate conversation, discussion, by all means, we can schedule that. But it is actually unethical, and sometimes they say it's illegal for you to just give specific solutions to specific diseases. There's some kind of law about that, especially in the U.S. That's we can't get around. Any more questions? Please display your information to reach you. Well, someone says display your information. Okay, I will display it again. All right, share it again. But that means I need to be able to see the chat. Where's the chat? Okay. Chat. Here. Any more questions? Questions? All right, so I've announced it again. What to take for IBS? Again, cannot tell you what to take for specific supplements, specific problems. Is it good Yeah, a good is it good enough for kids? I would recommend if a kid, yes, somebody's asking, is a multivitamin good enough for kids? I would still say kids should have vitamin D, especially in the winter, because one, you're not out in the sun much. Two, even in the winter, the ultraviolet rays aren't getting to you. The ultraviolet rays, something about winter makes it less of the UVB, specifically the UVB. There's UVA, ultraviolet A, and there's ultraviolet B. Something about winter makes it more difficult for the UVB to get into our atmosphere and to get into where we are. And again, because you have black skin, you're blocking out the sunlight. So therefore, you're not able to make vitamin D. Can someone take in excessive? Of course, yeah, everything can be taken in excess. So you want, just to quickly say this, I would certainly recommend the lower amounts, like 4,000 international units for kids. But for adults, from what I've seen, 6 to 10,000 seems to work. I've been consistently taking over 10,000, sometimes 20,000. Will immune thicken hair? Well, here's what we know. Aloe vera. The wonderful things about the aloe vera leaf, aloe vera gel, is that it helps not just with the immune system, but with nails and with hair. It helps. Yes, it does help to make hair healthier and thicker. What is the best way to get more nitric oxide? Among the things, there's a nutrient that's from the same company that helps. That is It's made from beet extracts. Beet extracts helps to boost nitric oxide. There's also a specific amino acid that helps to boost nitric oxide. However, it has to be taken in concert with a lot of other nutrients so that it can stay longer in the blood. Now that's why I'm saying that before I tell you what that amino acid is, that protein is. Because sometimes people just go to the health food store and they just get that protein and it doesn't work for them because it stays in the blood only for a short period of time. That protein is called L-Arginine, and there are a few companies that I know of that do a very good job of combining the supporting cast to make sure that the L-Arginine produces enough nitric oxide for your body on a daily basis. What is good for geographic tongue? Yeah, there's a lot of things that could be causing. I'm assuming geographic tongue is one of you've got marks and designs all over your tongue. It's usually proof and sign of an illness or something else going on in your body. What you get for inflammation? There is a supplement too from the same company that specifically targets inflammation. And again, you can get information about that later on. Can someone take an excessive vitamins? Yeah, we answered that question. Email announce what to take for IBS. Can someone take an excessive? Please display that. Yeah. Dr. First, person with Crohn's disease. Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah. Don't know much about boron, but if it's just a one-time thing, then there's not much risk there. It's one of those what are known as trace metals. They come in small amounts. You're not supposed to have too much of it. If you take a lot at one time, if it's just one time, you should be okay. The body should be able to excrete it. By the way, there are also nutraceuticals or supplements that help to extract heavy metals, toxins from your body, everything from mercury to lead. So people who have had lead poisoning, people who have mercury poisoning, people who have mercury in their teeth, there are supplements that can quickly extract those things. What is good for menopause? What is good for menopause to have balanced all the hormones? Okay. Yes. So again, that's a great question, by the way. So with PMS, with menopausal issues, with distressing menstrual periods, these are all as a result of unbalanced hormones. And the doctor would give you specific treatments, drugs to help to reduce the pain and the discomfort. Now, there are supplements too that can be given that provide the building blocks for your body to make all the hormones: estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid hormones, and the rest. It helps you make them in the right balance so that your body does the work of healing and fixing where the problem is. The challenge with just giving medication is that it doesn't address the specific problem, and you're introducing something that is a chemical that may or may not work and may or may not have side effects. But if you give the body something that is natural, that acts like a building block, you find the body, like I said, will use and make the right hormones in the right balance. And I found that to be extremely, extremely useful, especially for women, but not just for women, for men as well. Because as you all know, as you grow older, the libido, men don't have it up and go as they used to. And things just begin to fail and not work as well. But if you give your body the right kind of nutrients and building blocks, the body will kind of make those right hormones, testosterone, of course, in this case, more than anything else, to help you, perform better. So there are solutions to these things that are quite simple, really, and work really well. That's a great question, Hector. Any more questions? Waiting room. Oh, someone is in the waiting room. Okay. Do you guys want to go back to my? You want to see the slides? I thought this. I got to tell you, I thought this slide was fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I mean, if this doesn't convince you that vitamin D is important, I don't know what will, because this is so important. You need to have the vitamin D, folks. Let's see if I left anything out. Yeah, so I think I've also convinced you that dark skin, as a rule, the darker you are, the less vitamin D you are making. Okay, so I think I'll put this up here too, so you can see it. If you have stomach issues that prevent nutrient absorption, you're low in vitamin D. If you don't eat a well-balanced diet, you are low in vitamin D. But here's the thing, folks. Balanced diets, they only produce small amount of vitamin D for you. Most of your vitamin D has to be gotten from the sun. Failing that, you must supplement. Okay. How soon will the recording be available, sir? We will hand it over to the leadership, and they will let you know for sure. What is good for seizures? That's a great question. So a seizure is primarily a problem with the brain. The nerves are firing on their own. So this doesn't heal. Obviously, you need medication for seizures, but I'm going to tell you what helps strengthen the brain, because the brain needs to be healed. The brain needs to be, it needs a healing balm, so to speak. So one of the things that have helped that we've seen over the years is that you can omega-3 fatty acids are like nutrition for the brain. In fact, a large proportion of the brain is made of omega-3. So whatever brain condition you have, the solution is, in addition to whatever else your doctor gives you, you cannot do without omega-3 fatty acids. You've got to have omega-3 fatty acids for your brain. Should it be vitamin D or vitamin D3? Great question. It has to be vitamin D3 because there's vitamin D2. And sometimes that's prescribed by the doctor. It is not as effective as vitamin D3. You must have vitamin D3. Stomach issues are caused by what? Oh, that's a very, very, very broad question. All kinds of things can cause stomach issues, from ulcer to cancer to maybe not having enough enzymes, maybe not having enough good bacteria, maybe stress. Stress is a big one, because once you're stressed up here, see, here's the thing, folks, the brain and the gut, they're like twins. What happens to the brain is reflected in the gut. What happens in the gut is reflected in the brain. We had to find that out when we're treating kids with autism and all these other learning disabilities. We found out that if we didn't address the guts, all this hyperactivity, all this autism symptoms, all these activities that they do, if we didn't address the gut, we would not get good results with the brain. So if you're going to help the brain, you're going to have to address the gut. And I really wish neurologists and neurosurgeons and everybody dealing with the brain of children and adults could understand this. You've got to treat the gut as well as the brain. I do not see the slide for the vitamin D comparison. The vitamin. Okay. Sure. What is good for Parkinson's disease? That's another question that needs to be. That's a complicated question. You probably need to talk with someone about it. You probably need to schedule a separate talk about that. Parkinson, but again, vitamin D for the brain. To have a healthy brain, you need vitamin D, you need zinc, you need vitamin C, you need omega-3 fatty acids. And of course, in addition to that, there are specific brain supplements and nutrients that help to boost the brain. I'm not saying they help to treat Parkinson's disease, but they help to make the brain more healthy. Hang on, Apostle Charlie is calling me. Hello. I'm still on the Zoom. Well, thank you. Are you on it? Oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay, tell me. Okay. All right, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. 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 Absolutely. Okay. All right. Thanks, Paul. All right. Thanks. All right. So sorry about that, folks. What is good for inflammation and muscular spasm? Again, it depends on where it is. But here's the thing, and I've tried to emphasize this at the end of our talk too. Whether it's COVID-19, whether you're dealing with health issues or whatever health issues you have, well, some of the basic building blocks, and that's why I put strengthening the immune system at the very top. You've got to have something that strengthens the immune system. And there's a specific supplement made from aloe vera that strengthens the immune system. So whatever else you're going to add, whether it's omega-3s or whatever it is, you've got to strengthen the immune system. You've got to strengthen the immune system because the immune system sort of works, it's 25% of all your cells in your body are made up of immune cells. And these immune cells, they're like the Voltron of the body. They are in close contact with all the different cells in all over the body. And they pick up on things. If there's a problem, they will find it first and they'll fix it. So whatever you're doing, you've got to strengthen the immune cells. So someone is discussing between the Celebrate and Immune. So Celebrate, someone's asking about Celebrate. So Celebrate is one of the supplements that are really helpful. Celebrate has immune function booster. It also helps to deal with free radical damage. It also addresses inflammation. So those three things, and to some degree, it also helps with nitric oxide formation. So it's one capsule that has all four of those things in one. The immune is specifically for the immune system. So it helps to boost the immune system. So if you're dealing with a condition that requires all that, in which your immune system is compromised, I would say start with the immune. And then for those who just want a general, something that kind of touches all the bases that we talked about, I would say Celebrate. And of course, if you want us to talk about these different supplements later on, you have you can see my information there. Okay. How soon? Okay, there's a new message here. What is your stance on taking vaccination? I think those who need the vaccine should get the vaccine. Absolutely. Those who need the vaccines should get the vaccines. Of course, the elderly at a greater risk, and those who have comorbidities and other conditions should get it, but they need it first. Okay, hang on. Hello? Right. Okay. So I'm you want me to go ahead and say that? Okay. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. So Apostle Charlie just called me. The vaccine is a very, very touchy subject, as you all know, and I probably didn't address it like I should. The most important thing, obviously, is Psalm. That's what Apostle Charlie said to tell you. Psalm 91, 10 and 11. The protection is God's protection, number one, and of course, immune. So make sure you take immune. No matter what you do, just make sure you take immune and vitamin D. Just wondering if, that's a very, okay, with vaccines, it's a very touchy, very inflammatory topic. So we're going to stay away from vaccines.
We have an anti-inflammatory product.
Yeah. We've just been reminded we have an anti-inflammatory product, which I've talked about already. So you want to take the immune, number one, and of course the anti-inflammatory product, which is limitless. Thank you. I take prenatal vitamins daily. Is that a good thing or not? If you are pregnant, prenatal vitamins is good. I would say you need to take vitamin D and vitamin C as well. How you know you need it? Okay, someone's asking, how do you know you need to take the vaccine? It's a very, very inflammatory topic. So I'm staying away from it. Any more questions? Thank you, Cynthia. So remember the four fundamentals: the immune system, you want to address free radical damage, you want to address inflammation. These four things, really, if you can get a handle on these four things, if you can get supplements, take supplements that help with these four things. And like I said, the company produces all four of these things. If you can get the right supplements, they will help. Sometimes you need to take more than what the label suggests, because you may be dealing with a lot more stuff than the label suggests. And of course we can help with that and give you guidance on how to use that. But I got to tell you, so these are some of the most powerful things I've ever seen or have come in contact with. In fact, when we started treating sickle cell disease patients, again, this is under the supervision of the government. So we have a approval from the Nigerian government to use supplements to treat. Can't do that in the US, but we have, let's say a special dispensation to treat using these supplements. And I got to tell you, sickle cell disease has been a problem for many, it's been a challenge for many years. We've not been able to sort this out. Even people who have a lot of money and have access to the best of healthcare, they still lose their kids to sickle cell disease. So us coming up with solutions like this, and I got to tell you, it was the immune system. We just started giving these kids this immune. In fact, this supplement has improved now because we started about 4 years ago, and they've iterated and improved it over the years. So it's even better now than what it was when we first started. It was like magic. These kids were coming back and they were no longer tired. They were no longer had pain. And pain and tiredness are the hallmarks of sickle cell disease. And they were going to school. They were playing soccer. They were riding their bicycles. And we have all this on video, by the way, on our website. We have all this on video on our website. And these kids were basically living normal lives. And what did we do for them? All we did was just strengthen their immune systems. It's fascinating what the immune system, simply helping the immune system can do. Another thing I forgot to mention, asthma. I just noticed there's something being circulated on the WhatsApp platforms, and about someone who died of asthma. In my opinion, that's absolutely ridiculous. Nobody should be dying of asthma. It's ridiculous because it's tragic, but it's also ridiculous. Nobody should die of asthma. It's the easiest thing to address. I'm not saying you treat asthma. Well, I can treat asthma in Nigeria, but asthma is primarily a problem of the immune system. The immune system in the lungs are just hyperactive. The immune cells are producing all kinds of chemicals that are causing the lungs and the air passages to constrict and to tighten up, stopping them from breathing. If you begin to strengthen the immune system, if you begin to support the immune system, many of these asthmatic cases wouldn't be much of a problem. I'm not saying it treats asthma in the US. Remember, I'm trying to be careful with my words here, but if you strengthen the immune system, you're going to get good results. Any more questions? Any more questions? Getting ready to wrap it up for the night, folks. Someone says, where do good bacteria come from? Well, good bacteria basically, they're in you when you're born. As soon as you start sucking, when you get through the birth canal, when you start eating, good bacteria begin to populate. And it's a great question too, because bacteria are very important for overall health, and they actually help with instructing and boosting the immune system. So having good bacteria in your guts also helps with the immune system. All right, any more questions? Any more questions? Thank you. Someone says, great, thank you so much. This was very informative. Thank you very much. Chiquita. Thank you, Chiquita. Very encouraging. Thank you for encouraging me. Sorry about the noise earlier, folks. I know there was a lot of, I probably should have muted everybody, which I tried to do, but something didn't work as well. Okay, so it is 8:35 now. We are, yes, probiotics and prebiotics help each other, yes. All right, folks, thank you for your kind attention. And of course, Apostle Charlie will, and the leadership team, thank you for this privilege and this opportunity to serve. Hope I can serve more. So God bless. I will be wrapping up very soon. I finally found the area to ask question and comment. Doctor has invited to give an overall general thank you for educating us, Dr. Ajibade. Is this from Apostle Charlie? Okay. All right. Thank you, folks. I'm gonna end the call now. Thank you very much. God bless. Have a good night. Stay safe. Remember, strengthen your immune system.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Good night, folks. God bless. Bye.
God bless.
Bye, everyone.